Hey guys, it's LSuperSonicQ here, and welcome to the third installment of my prototype clay models. So, in these videos, I showcase clay models that were sculpted initially for a video game clay figure model video. However, they were canceled and called prototypes for a number of specific reasons as to why I did not finish them. I only have a few to show this time. They were all sculpted from this past year, 2013, and maybe it's a good sign that I'm actually not screwing up as often. So with that said, let's start. This first prototype I wanted to show was actually one that I showcased on my blog in a picture. However, that was the unpainted version, and this was the painted version. I just didn't take a picture of the painted version. It's not that I did this recently. This was painted last year, like I said, but I just haven't shown the painted one yet. And it's Mario's head. So, this Mario head was actually going to go to my Nintendo bobblehead series, in case you guys forgot. That was the series in which I had that Link from Ocarina of Time, and the same as from Metroid Prime 2, where their heads are kind of bigger than their bodies, and they stand really tall, and, the inside is kind of hollow, so that when they're on the little peg, the head will kind of move around. This Mario, however, was kind of canceled for couple different reasons. Well, first off, he was being sculpted for Video Game Clay Figure Models 9. And at the time I was sculpting him, I will kind of admit that he was a rushed sculpt. I needed some more models for the video, and I thought, well, I could easily continue kind of the bobblehead thing because I did the Samus, so why not do a Mario? And I think it's the fact that I kind of rushed him, where I didn't really take as much care into actually ensuring, even this brim of the hat being an equal length, and just kind of like the hair back here, it's a little awkward compared to, it should be a bit more spread out on his face. So, in addition to that, Mario is the fifth model planned to this bobblehead set. I have, 5 characters lined up, and the fact that I tried to sculpt him just because he was easy enough to sculpt, where I was going to try and jam him into a video that he really wasn't fit for, it's almost like a premature sculpt. And as for the paint job, yeah, like I said, it was just more of like a rush thing because, I don't know, the eyes, just kind of messing the eyes up. I tried to get some blue around there, but it was just going to take too much time to correct, and the M is really kind of, And I'm like, well, I'll just do this kind of first coat, and then I'll go over back and do all the detailing, but I never really got to that point because the sculpt kind of just made me not want to go back and finish it. So, those two factors, and then some other features like the nose is really flat. I would want to resculpt that, and I tried to kind of take the mustache off, I think, a little bit, because it just doesn't look good. So, this one was kind of beyond fixing at this point, because it just would have taken me too much time to fix, and, I might as well just sculpt the new one anyway. So, kind of a premature Mario head. Yeah, there is an unfinished Mario head. The next clay model definitely should have been finished, and as seen kind of as an overview from the picture I put on my blog a while ago, certain things happened to this guy that just prevented him from being finished, and we'll take a closer look at that now. I'm talking about Rayquaza, shiny Rayquaza rather. So all those pieces are in this bag, and here is kind of the main part of the model. So this guy, like I said, definitely should have been done. I was looking for, or rather thinking of some models I could sculpt, for Video Game Clay Figure Models 10, and I kind of thought about Pokemon, and Rayquaza, was a really cool Pokemon. His shiny version would be a really nice variant, and the yellow highlights against the black would have looked really nice. So I spent a lot of time on this, trying to ensure all the details were right, all the little circles and stuff, the little, reddish rim around these parts of his body, and I kind of carved in this impression that, on that first piece of his chest, the eyes really small, and I actually had to repair his teeth a couple times, really tried to get all this paint in here as clean as I could, and it was just shaping out to be a really nice model. I spent a long time on the detail just to emphasize that. I'm pretty sure I went on to Brawl and looked at the trophy just so I could make sure I got all the patterning right and stuff, and he did have his, he had his other kind of earpiece, but I guess it kind of broke off, but there it is. And then I guess it's definitely going to make a mess, but yeah. I had all these pieces kind of linked onto him just all the way around. He was really cool. And I was going to have a problem with him standing up. I knew that, but I think what essentially killed him was two things. The more significant reason was because I guess he just wasn't engineered as properly as he should have been, and clearly he just fell apart. All the pieces fell apart, and this was after he was baked too, so it's not like I could just kind of scrap pieces and resculpt them and stuff. I baked all this stuff, and to throw all this stuff away to try and fix him, nonetheless, I tried to fix him. Just, if you guys saw that picture on my blog, I had all these tools and stuff trying to just, like, cut off pieces of his body, trying to, kind of sculpt, or not so much resculpt, but reposition things and kind of do a lot of patchwork and stuff. So that was probably the biggest reason. Just nothing was staying together. I literally could not think of any better way to put this together, and it wasn't staying. And then the minor reason why it wasn't done is because I painted this thing a really nice black, and then as I did try to patch him up, the kind of white of the clay got on my hands, and as I kind of went all around and stuff, in fact, you can probably tell from like some like this one and stuff, maybe a little bit, there's just a bunch of white bits of clay all over the place, and it just looks really shoddy, and I would have had to go back and repaint this whole thing, probably black, just to make it look better, because it's really kind of like cloudy if you look at it. There's like patches all over the place, and another thing kind of fell. So just really disappointing. I kind of blame myself because I should have engineered it better. And like I said, I knew standing was going to be a problem, but all I was going to do was kind of put a little like clay stand right here, so we kind of leaned up against it, kind of like that, and he's just going to kind of loop around like normal. But something down at the bottom didn't work. It didn't connect. And when super glue doesn't work, that's a problem. Sadly, this guy is scrapped and will remain a prototype. So the last clay model I have to show is actually one that no one has seen before. And yes, it's still a prototype. So this guy was sculpted. I kind of wish I wrote a date on him, because I feel like it was a long time ago, like earlier 2013. And I'm sure some of you guys are familiar with the game called Rhythm Thief. So this was a time when I was just kind of not having anything specific, because, usually when I first kind of start models to a new clay video, I don't really have a theme going on or anything. But then by the end, I usually focus on a certain, type of franchise or whatever. But anyway, so this is when I was kind of just thinking about what kinds of models I could possibly sculpt for this video. And one of the characters that came to mind was Raphael from Rhythm Thief. And I've made some obscure characters before, and I kind of wanted to make this obscure set, and I'm like, well, he'd be a kind of cool character to include in an obscure clay set in the future or whatever. So I sculpted him, and again, a variety of things went wrong. So let me show him off. He's really tall. I hate how all these are so tall, but this is him. And the first thing that went wrong was the fact that he's way too big. I don't know what I was thinking. I'm just like, oh, well, bigger is better. But he kind of has like if you look at the character model in the game, he has like a big head but kind of a small body. And I think at the time I really didn't care. I'm like, well, I don't care if I make him big because I want him to be a large clay model. But I shouldn't have made him that big, because it kind of made me say, well, he's so big now that it doesn't look like the character anymore. On top of that, when I sculpted this, I did not have the right paint to paint his coat blue. I don't think I had any blue paint. And when I went to restock my paint or whatever, I knowingly didn't buy the right color blue, because this is obviously a lot lighter than his actual clothing. But for some reason, I thought I could kind of mix blue and black together and get some kind of a navy blue, and that really didn't work. And I painted the whole model this color blue, because for some reason, I guess, after the mixing didn't really work, I'm like, well, maybe I could just try and paint them all blue and see how it looks. And I guess that's what I did, and it didn't look good enough, so I decided to just scrap him, because you can't really do anything with a model at this point. He's all baked and stuff. The only other thing to do is kind of paint him and finish him up, but I didn't want to do that because I just didn't like him enough to finish the job. And additionally, it's kind of weird too, because I put this elbow, or rather his arm, and he should have like another hand, but I was just wicked lazy. I'm like, well, I just kind of put it like in his coat pocket, so it's like in his coat pocket, but not really, because there's no kind of like bulge or anything where a hand would be, so it's kind of just like not even there, and it just kind of looks really weird. And it wasn't that great of a sculpt anyway. I could have spent more time on this hand, and I feel like the hat's a little bit just kind of lopsided. Not to mention I would have had, or I've had to layer, the red over the blue. That would have taken a couple coats, and I would have had to layer white over blue, for his shirt, which is really hard to do because again with the pigments of the paint, white is lighter, blue is darker, so you have to coat, the white over the blue more times than if you were coating the blue with a darker color. And then to try and get, is it a red tie? I think it's a red tie. And to try and get the red tie in there with the blue and the white, yeah, that wasn't gonna fly. And again, with the face, that I kind of would have had to probably take his head off to try and paint in the face, because I never would have been able to, get the face probably to a satisfactory level. So that again, just kind of showing it this way. He's really large. He's like a foot tall, probably, maybe 10 inches or so. So yeah, that's Raphael from Rhythm Thief. Again, just kind of keeping them all in the bag because I can't really take them out because they're all kind of sticky and stuff, and I kind of just like to leave them in a bag just because that's what they are and that's what they always will be, prototype clay models. So those were the only 3 that I had this time. I do have some kind of, as I said previously, some beta elements to Video Game Clay Figure Models 10 that I want to show, but I didn't show them here because they're kind of spoilers to other models that are in the actual video. So that'll be followed up with a video in itself after the new Clay video premieres. So I hope you guys enjoyed this minimal look at some of my recent unfinished works from 2013. I'm LSuperSonicQ. Thanks for watching. Until the next video, Finn.